They call it the giant Green Anaconda. They see the monster that crushes bone and swallows the world whole. But they are wrong. This is not a monster. This is a prison. This is the world's perfect killer, burdened with the greatest curse nature could ever invent. You are watching the last 8 minutes of a life that has gone horribly wrong. 8 minutes is all it has. 8 minutes is the longest it can hold its breath, a desperate, fading hope. Beyond that, it must rise. And when a creature this large rises from the dark water, it stops being the hunter and becomes the hunted. This is the true horror of the anaconda's existence. Its size, its strength, its very perfection is a death sentence. It is a slow-motion, agonizing end determined not by arrival, but by simple gravity, by hunger, and by the relentless ticking clock of its own metabolism. And that prison sentence begins at the very first breath. Because unlike most snakes, the anaconda is born alive, not from an egg, but ejected into a world of pure, absolute violence. There is no mother's love here. There is only the first horrifying rule of the jungle: eat or be eaten. And often, the first meal is your own sibling. The infant anaconda that survives must complete a single, terrifying task: growth. This is not a choice, it is a primal command. If it remains small, it is immediate prey. This rapid expansion is a frantic race against the clock, but one that ultimately condemns it. The anaconda's signature constriction is a terrifying marvel of biology. It applies pressure until the victim suffers ischemic hypoxia, a slow, chillingly efficient suffocation. The victim's final moments are a forced stillness. But the real horror comes after the feast. To swallow prey, the anaconda must enter a self-induced coma. Its metabolism demands massive energy. It is at this point that the monster becomes completely vulnerable. A full-grown anaconda, heavy with its meal, can be paralyzed for days. It cannot fight. It can only lie still and wait. The creature's greatest strength is the moment of its deepest weakness. It transforms itself from apex predator into a helpless, bloated sacrifice waiting for the jaguar. And this necessary violence only feeds the deeper, darker need.
The anaconda is a ghost in the water. Its sensory arsenal is terrifyingly specific to its environment. While its vision above the water is poor, its eyes and nostrils are strategically positioned on top of its head, allowing it to remain almost entirely submerged, seeing nothing but the heat of its world. It perceives the jungle as a canvas of heat signatures, reading the life force of its prey even in the deepest blackness of the Amazonian tributaries. Its jaw, a masterpiece of anatomical terror, can unhinge to accommodate prey many times the size of its own head. And the speed? In the water, it is deceptive. A coiled strike is a blur of muscle and malice, often over before the victim can even register the attack. It is a creature designed by natural selection to eliminate risk, to ensure every calorie spent results in a fatal return. Every slow slither, every held breath, every agonizing digestive period is a calculation of survival. Yet, this calculated existence hides the most chilling necessity of all, a necessity that goes against the very grain of its solitary nature. a moment when the jungle's terror turns inward. It is called the cannibalism trap.
The truth of the giant anaconda is that it is often the deadliest threat to its own kind, especially the female, the true giant of the species. During mating season, the female's overwhelming size, a colossal mountain of muscle, is a powerful biological magnet. Males flock to her, forming a mating ball that can last for weeks. But once the act is complete, hunger returns with a vengeance, and the female faces a critical choice: a time-consuming, risky hunt for a capybara, or an immediate, low-risk, high-calorie meal right beside her. More often than you think, the female anaconda chooses the latter. She turns on her smaller, exhausted mate. This is not simple cruelty, it is biological efficiency. The large infusion of protein and fat provided by the male is vital for the female to sustain her massive body, and more importantly, to ensure the survival of her developing young. The male is not a partner, he is a necessary, expendable sacrifice. The male anaconda's life, therefore, culminates in a horrifying existential choice: risk the death of a desperate mate, or die ensuring the survival of his own genes. His tragic role is not to reign supreme, but to become fuel. This is the ultimate, silent horror of the species.
The giant anaconda does not live long enough to truly enjoy its title. Being this large is a relentless war against gravity and necessity. The older it gets, the slower it becomes. The massive size that once protected it now makes it impossible to hide. Every hunt is a monumental expenditure of energy it can barely afford. A single period of bad luck or old age is a crisis. The hunts become slower, the strikes become weaker. Recovery from a meal becomes an increasingly dangerous, weeks-long hibernation. The ultimate tragedy of the giant anaconda is this: it is too perfect for its world. The elements that make it the ultimate killing machine are the very mechanisms that lead to its downfall. It doesn't die in a battle. It is more likely to die alone, in the mud, in quiet, excruciating exhaustion. Too large to survive, too slow to escape, too hungry to sustain itself. Its whole life was just the slow realization that the biggest thing in the Amazon is not the predator, but the terrible burden of being alone at the top.